Hi everybody, this is Carolyn with Southern Crafted. Today I'm going to show you about the altered composition books. I made these, it's 9 or 10 years ago that I made these. I actually saw MayMay Made It make one of these, and I made it on my other channel, or showed one completed, I should say. I didn't go through how to make it. I linked it back to her, which I'll do that in this video as well. I always think you should, try to give credit back to people that it's not my original idea. I wish it had been, but it's not. But it's an awesome idea, and I've just loved them and made them for 10 years. So what you're going to need is just one of these good old composition books. You can get them at the Dollar Tree, get them at Walmart. They're cheaper at Walmart. And actually I went to the Dollar Tree first, and they were not in good shape. I mean, they were tattered on the corners, and they were bowed. They just looked pretty rough. So I thought, well, I can get them a little bit cheaper going to Walmart, and I needed to buy a lot, and so that's what I did. I just went over there, and they were all in good shape, and so I just picked them up there. But you can do either one. That's what I'm, But just check them out if you're going to get them at the Dollar Tree. Do look at them, because they can be a little rough sometimes. So anyway, this is the paper pack that I've used on this one. I've ordered 5 different, and I've made them all. I've ordered 5 different designs and several of each of the designs, and have made, I think I got enough to do 18, and I think I've made 10, I think, so far. But I get this from Echo Park. I try to watch for them to put it on sale, and I know this summer so far they've been having warehouse sales, and so you've been able to get them for like $7.50 versus I think they're like $14.50 or something like that. There again, I'll link it below. But there's different designs you can get that are more, kitchen-y related. And so I think I got all of them that they had at that particular time. So anyway, this is what you're going to get. It's not a big, when you're buying a big book, a paper pack, of getting a lot of paper. So you have to really think about what you're going to do with this paper, where you're going to put it. You need to have that planned out before you just kind of dive into it. Or I do, because, like I said, you're limited to what you have. So, anyway, we'll open it up, and I'll show you what's in here. This paper is very nice. So, you just get this little piece of paper here that's just showing you what it is. You could save it, use it in a journal, You could do lots of things with it. I mean, I save stuff like this, so I'll put that over to the side. Okay, my first page here that's going to come up is what I call cut-aparts. And so I like to have as many of these as I can. So I will put those to the side and see if I'm going to need that back page, because, you might not have a color that you want to use. So you want to kind of look at that. So I'm going to save that one. This one, to me, looks like it would make a really pretty cover. So I'll put that one over to the side to save. This one, this to me looks like a back page or an inside page as far as in the front cover or the back cover, you know. So this I would just set to the side to kind of decide what I'd want to do with it. This one I know I would use it for baking, you know. I love the baking section. It's one of my favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one to the side because I know I'm going to use this one for baking. Another cut apart, so I'm going to put that up there. Now I've made several of these in this from this paper pack, but I've never used the little chickens. I don't know why. I don't know. I've used this several times. This I think looks good on the inside page, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that over there. And I'll flip through one of my books in just a minute, and that'll make more sense of kind of why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I'm sorry, I should turn my phone off. Okay. This one, I like this one. I've used this one I know for, and this would make a good back page as well. I've used this one for appetizers, and I'm thinking that's what I'd do. I think this and this would make, that would make a cool looking book, I think. The front and the back. So, I've not made one like that, and I think that is cool looking. But it is a bit busy on the front as far as with lettering, but I do like it. But I'm going to set this one to the side like I'd had before. I'm going to go ahead and set this one over here because I know I'm going to use that for appetizers. This one, again, it could go with that black and white. Little Red Barns, yeah. I love Little Red Barns, trust me, but I don't know that I would use that one. I would set this one to the side as well. The chickens, cute chickens. But this, I love this, and I've used this before on the back. So I know I want to use this one for a back page, so I'm going to stick it over here. Again, another cut apart. If I see one that has the bigger pockets, I use these for pockets. I definitely want to save those. And anything that has recipe on it, I definitely want to save that. So I'm going to put that up here with my cut aparts. And then this one is the one that I used for the cover on this one. So, and the green. I like that. But this time we're going to see. It's got little strawberries like this. I'm going to sit it there for a minute. This one I know, usually if I see anything that has farm animals on it, I think, well, that's going to be my main dish, you know. Because it's a lot, chicken, beef, whatever, it's usually in your main dish, so I'm gonna use that for that. So I'm gonna put that over there. So the only thing I need to find is, and this is your stickers that comes with it. So I need to find one that I know that I'm going to use on the back inside, and also one that I will use for my sides. So we have these, and we have it like this. So I think for my sides, I'm going to use this one. I don't know. I think that's what I'll do. So I've got my sides. I've got all that for my insides. Okay, now I need to look back. I want to look back here. Okay, on my back I'm going to just have that green, so when you flip it, it's not really going to matter. So it's just depending on which one I want to use. I am using some black in there, so I could go with either one of these. And I think that I'm going to use this one on my back inside page. So let me put that one back here. Okay, should have done this first. Would have made sense, but getting used to filming again. And especially filming down onto my desk. I'm used to looking into a lens, and so this is all very backwards to me. It's kind of hard. I have to make sure that I'm in frame and all that good stuff. But let's get with this book over here, and I'll show you how I've made this. Now this little thing right here, you're probably going, why do you have this hairband on it? And that's exactly what it is. It's a hairband. I got these at the Dollar Tree. I did look at 2 Dollar Trees this past week. They did not have any of these. And I hated it because they're perfect. They're the perfect size. I haven't looked at like somewhere like Dollar General. I did look at CVS. They didn't have them. I did look in Walmart, and they did have them, but they were like half the size. You know, they were very skinny. So I'm hoping I'll run across some more of these because, like I said, they're just perfect. And they have this like non-skip, this like silicone type stuff on the inside too. So I'm hoping I'll run into some of these somewhere. Or if any of you know somewhere you can get them, let me know. But they make it perfect to put on your book because your book is going to get thicker. And to, you know, if you wanted to just slide it on the shelf, then it's not like all bowed out and stuff. You know, you can have it together, and it just, to me, works. It works well for mine anyway. Okay, so that's what I was saying. I want to pick a cover page. So that's what we're going to do with this one. It's going to go on here. My back page, you know. So that's why I chose this green, because I think that will look good on the back. I love this green. It's one of my favorite colors. Green in general, I love greens, especially a dark green. So that's why I kind of made those decisions. Okay, this pocket I made, and sometimes I don't put a pocket here. Sometimes I'll put it across the bottom this way. Or, like I said, or not have one at all. I like to put as many pockets in here as I can because there's only 80 sheets of paper in here. And I'm going to glue a couple pieces of them together when I do my, for my main dishes, and I'm going to put the cardstock on the back. So I want something in between there and sandwich it in there, make it as sturdy as I can. So I know I'm going to use up a couple, 8 pieces of paper for that. But you can do pockets, you don't have to. But in here, what I do is I take, like this one, I have some extra recipe cards. And so I got these from Temu, I wanted them that were just plain, that I could just stick them in. So this one doesn't have, very many, so I may have put a couple of them in here. And I usually put any little pieces of ephemera, I call it, my cut-aparts, whatever you want to call it, the ephemera. I put that in there, or any stickers that's left over if they want to add to it. I've had people that asked me to make them one, and they wanted to decorate it, with all the stickers and all this stuff. So I just gave them the sheet to go with it and let them do it how they wanted to. But these you can, I think sometimes it would be better to mat the back of these with a piece of cardstock, just like white or something, just put on the back of them so you could write on each one. I also thought, well, you could take you know, a recipe and just like glue it onto the card. You know, or you can use it as a bookmark. You know, you could use it for what you wanted to. But I think that it would be a really good idea to kind of mat these. Then that way you could write on them and use them as a recipe card as well. So, and some of them you can because there's not any design on the back. So that's probably a better idea. All right. So then we go over to our first page here. And like I said, I cut mine, the cardstock and the printed paper to the same width and length. And so you can see here it is. And so I'll take 2 pieces of paper, put a little bit of glue around it, get it around the edges some, and just lay it down to smooth it out. Now, since I'm talking about glue, I have tried many different glues with these books over the years. I love score tape. I love it. But score tape sometimes doesn't hold up, and I found that it doesn't hold up on these. What it didn't hold up for me was for the pockets. And over time, that glue broke down and the pockets came off. And so I said, well, we can't have that. I'm going to have to come up with something else. So I started using Fabri-Tac. I've tried different glues because with glues, you know, it'll leave like a bubble or a raised line, or you can, like if you have this white paper, you could see it through it. With Fabri-Tac, you don't have to worry about that. That stuff sticks. You don't. The only thing about it is you have a little wiggle room to adjust, but you don't have a lot of time before it's stuck. And so keep that in mind if you use the Fabri-Tac, because you want to kind of get it there and move it where you need to and be done with it, because it's gonna be stuck there and you might have to do some trimming to kind of even it up. But before I put down my piece of paper here, I take and use my quarter rounder, wherever it is. I just have one. It does different sizes, so I just take my quarter rounder and do that page, and I do my cardstock, because I like for it to be, that's the way the book's shaped, and I do that before I put on the front cover and this back. I do all my pages. I go ahead and do the corners. So I put this one on first, let it sit for a little bit, not long, and then I go ahead and put this one on, and then I'll go through and I'll count 15 pages, and then I'll glue 2 more pages together, and I'll do the same thing here, is use my paper and glue them together, and then put everything on there and let that rest. Same thing, 15 pages, got your front and your back, quarter round them, glue them on. And then my last one is my baking page, and I'll always put a pocket on every page, whether it be that they're smaller, like this one, you know, it's a smaller little pocket. I like them when they're longer, but you know, you could make them from cardstock if you wanted to. I kind of like these because they're all, you know, pretty and go with the paper pack, so I use them. And then I stuff these full of these, because some of them you can see, you could write on this one and it would be fine. Some of them, if you wanted to take the time and mat them, you could do that. And I may go back and do that with some of mine that I have. I just kind of span them out and put them in here. Alright. And then here is my back page. I'll put a pocket on it. Sometimes I'll put a long pocket like I did on the front. And then, I'll leave, I didn't mention that on the front, but I leave quite a bit of room here. Not a lot. But I don't want to get up too much into the binding here because, you know, I don't want to add bulk to it. I want it to be able to open and close it. If you just try it, you know, and not glue it down and try it, you'll see how much extra it adds to it. So you don't want to do that. And here I go past this little red line. I think it's 7 inches is what it is. Let me see. I have to tell you about measurements too. I think it's 7 inches that I go on these. Yes. 7 inches across. And then I think it's like, it may be 10 3/4 down. But I do all of my papers for the inside and the cardstock. I cut them all the same. So that's one that's easy, that you can go ahead and cut those and get those done all the same, and I just lay them out and have them together. Okay, here in the back I want to leave some extra room because I don't want that bulk. This one I want to get it up as close, if not over just a tad, but I want to get it right up to the edge of that black part of the book. Now, this is where I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to measure out everything and tell you the measurements because they don't all measure the same. The inside pages do, you know, they're fine, but these, they don't measure the same. I mean, they're 97 cents for this little book, and so they're off a bit. You can see a little bit probably here with my pages. I mean, it's off just a bit, but that's just the way it is. So I would rather you measure your books and just measure up to this line. Give yourself just a little bit, you know, go over it just a tad and do it that way and measure it. And sometimes I'll even go a little bit further, and if I lay it down, I'll see, oh, well, gosh, you know, I could take it about 1/8 off, you know, and then cord around it and put it down. So that's the only reason I'm not going to give you the measurements, is because I measure every single book that I make, the front and the back and the insides. As far as the sheets, though, I don't have to worry about. They're always going to turn out. I always make sure, but they always turn out the same. But these covers, for whatever reason, they don't. I don't know. I guess it's just this little binding right here. It can be wrapped around a little bit further on the back, a little bit further on the front, because the front and the back usually are not the same measurement either. So don't expect it to be. I would just measure it and, you know, make sure before you do it. Now, with this paper pack, and most of them, you'll get this little piece right here. And you'll see I used it right here. There's another paper pack that I have here that I did not use it. In fact, it's on this book. This one. You have 2 pieces that you could have, you know, I could have used it here and then taken this little pretty floral and put it across the back, and that would have been pretty too, but I just didn't feel like this one needed it, and it's glued down tight. I mean, it's not, when you rub your hand up against it, you feel a little ridge, but it's not coming up. I love that Fabri-Tac for that. It once it's down, it's down. So you picked out your fronts. Wait a minute, let me get them here. You picked out your front page. You picked out your, what's going to be the back of the book, you know. So this part will show up on the back. And then when you open your book, then you can see I'm using a lot of the same with this paper pack because, like I said, the options, they're there, but, you know. So you just have to measure in, but not too far. Give yourself a little, like a finger, you know. And then this one is going to be, of course, wider than your front page. And so you'll have that for your inside. So there's those two. And then I go ahead and do my back. And then I measure the inside. And I have those two. And I go ahead and I glue those down. And have my covers on first. This part I leave till the pretty much to the end. I look at all the, I will take and cut every one of these little cut aparts. I'll cut all of these apart because I'm going to make pockets. And I will look then and see, what is going to be best for my front. Now you can mat it, you can not mat it. This one I double matted it. This one I think I just single matted it. Yep, I did. Just single matted that one. I haven't bought in a lot of cardstock, just plain cardstock. I mean, I've got different colors, and so I think I have enough that, you know, I can cover about any book that I need to with just using some white. Like this yellow works with it. I could have just used the yellow in this card. But I'll look through here and I'll pick out what I think, and you can see that I've used this one. And so that was my base here that I knew that I wanted that as my front cover. There's, wait a minute. This one, I love this one. Happiness is homemade with lots of love and butter. I used that one on one of the books that I made, and people just loved that little saying when I took those to the beauty shop. And so that was one of their ones. But I'm in the South, we use a lot of butter. So anyway, so first I like I said, I do the cover, the back, the insides. Then I'll start on these and glue them all in. And glue 2 sheets together. Then put this page on. Remember to quarter round it. If you forget, you can always cut around it with scissors because it's going to get too thick and you can't use your quarter rounder to go in. It won't fit in there. It's too thick. So if you forget, you can always round it with your scissors. I mean, it's no problem. But I try to remember to do that before, and when I lay my pages down, that I'm ready to glue them in. All of them are already done for me. Okay. Then the next thing I would do is I'm going to make pockets. Well, all the pieces that I have left over from cutting my cardstock, I have like some of them over here. Oops. I have pieces that I save all these little pieces. And then some of them I have to cut them down. I don't cut them to a certain size. I just kind of eyeball it. Then I take and let me put it on this side so it just kind of shows up better. I take and I fold them. If I can get one of, I've got them stacked up here and they're stuck together. I fold them in half. So I have this little piece like that. Alright, and then I cut these to 6 usually. That would be what it would be if you're using one of these. It's usually 6 inches and then 4 inches. But not always. But I've gotten in the habit that that's what I do. And so on these, you know, they're going to be shorter. So you're going to need more 4 inches or less. I think they're going to be less. So what you do to make a pocket is you just flip it over. You cut these all apart. You flip it over and you cut these like this one. This 4 would barely make it on there. So I'd probably trim it off just a little bit. And you get it and you glue it down so it opens, you know, you can see it opens just like that. Alright, then you're going to get 2 more. And you're going to have to cut these down as well because these are a little bit too long. And then you're going to put your glue on there and you're going to put it right here. And like I said, that would be trimmed off. And you put it where it's opening. All the openings are going to be to the inside. Do the same thing over here. And then I put a little drop of glue right here on the corners and hold it like that until that's stuck. And you have to sit here and hold it for a few minutes. And I just watch a video while I'm waiting for that to dry. And then you just take it and you flip it over so you've got a pocket then, and you're going to just lay it down. And so this gives you this little bit of give that you want. That's all these little pieces are doing for you. They're giving you a little bit of where you can open it up a little bit. So then everything can slide in here with no problem. And you can put more in here. I mean, you know, because it's got these, and you know, it can take more put in there. I love these to have for like extra recipes. Like I said, there's 15 pages that you have per section because you're going to use 2 pages to glue together. So you can do that one, count out 15 pages, glue another 2 together right here, and then you're going to count out 15 pages and continue on. And that will, because I think there's 80 pages in one of these. So that's, you know, how you make your pockets. Then on the back, you know, you got all your little stickers, these little cutie things. I mean, these, you don't, I wish they would give you more. Because this is kind of really, you know, stuck down there. To me, it looks like it needs to be spread out a little bit more. But sometimes I'll use some of these. Like, I'll take one of these and I will glue that here. Sometimes I'll just glue something like this and not put all the stickers on it so they can write on this page as well. You know, it's just kind of up to you. Or I'll leave extra room, which I haven't on any of these left any extra room, I don't think. No, I have not. Where you could write on the back page. So sometimes I'll scoot them up or scoot them down, and so it's, you can use this to write on. But, you know, it's whatever you want to do. You could leave this, just put some white cardstock back here, or a light color cardstock back here, that, and not put a pocket on it, or you could have space to write on if you wanted to. There's just, I mean, with crafting, there's just, it's what you see, what you want to do. That's the wonderful thing about it, because, you know, me and my sister could make this book and have the same paper pack, and it would be fun to see how they would be different, you know. Even though, like I said, with these paper packs, it's great paper. I have to say, it's great. Good cardstock. I like to use these. I like it that it's already themed for me. They have all kinds of themes. They have all if you're going camping, you know, you just have to go over there and look and check it out, because you could do all kinds of books and use it as a journal, as a photo album, basically, and do little pockets to put pictures in and places to write and about your vacation. I mean, you know, there's so much you can do with a composition book. I think, too, that's, you know, why I like the pockets, too. It kind of reminds me of doing the mini albums, you know, because you make all these pockets and flips and folds, and And you could do that in this as well for a lot cheaper, you know. Many albums get rather expensive to make those, but they're they're just so pretty. When you get finished, just sitting there and looking at it, I mean, you're going, wow, I made this. I didn't know I could do that. But these, to me, are not only fun. I'm a very sentimental person. So if, say, my neighbor brought over a cake or a pie or whatever, and I said, wow, I'd really like the recipe for that, and she gave me the recipe, and it's in her handwriting, I would just want to glue that in here or tape it in here and then put her name at the bottom and, you know, maybe what she brought it over, you know, I mean, I don't know, but to have it in their handwriting, that to me is great. And then, you know, who it's from, and put it in my book. But I made one of these for my son. There's recipes that he likes that I do, and so he would call me up and say, how do you do this and how do you do that? Well, so I just went through and some of his, I even asked him, I said, what are some of your recipes that you want? And I went through and I made him one of these books. And so he said, it's been 10 years ago. Actually, it's been, yeah, it's been 10 years ago that I made him one of these, and he still has it and still uses it. And so I wish that my mom, I mean, she had recipe books that, you know, she really loved church recipe books too, and when our church would do one, and it would be all the community and put theirs in it, you know, that's awesome. I have a lot of church cookbooks. But also I wish she would have put a lot of recipes down in her writing, and also just to have the recipe. My mother kept things in her head, and she didn't even have to write it down. Now, she did some things. We don't know what happened to them. We don't know. And so we don't have them. We're lost. And there's nobody to ask. I mean, I'm the youngest of 5, but my sister's the oldest. And there's 3 boys. The boys don't know. And so that would have been a wonderful thing to have. So to me, these are a very special gift. They're something that I think, if you're like me, you would treasure it, you know. And it is, I mean, I don't know. That's the, like I said, that's the sentimental part of me that loves to get things like this. And homemade stuff, I love it, you know. But anyway, I am going to, I mean, I can go through and break this down more if you want me to. If you want me to cut the papers, you see me glue it on and do the whole process and showing you these a little bit more, I can do that. But I kind of wanted to give you an overview of how I go about choosing what I choose, what the materials that I use, so you would, you know, if you wanted to try making one of these, which you should, and like I said, they're just a great gift. Want more details about it and kind of watch me do some of it, let me know and I'll be glad to do that. I just didn't I didn't know if you wanted, like I said, because I knew the measurements, I couldn't give you the measurements because they're all going to be just a tad different, except I find the inside is fine. But as far as the other part, no. But yeah, let me know if you want to watch me put one together, or if this gave you the information, you know, and the materials that I use. You don't have to buy this Echo Park. I mean, you can decorate it without putting all these little stickers in it. You can just buy paper that is what's to your taste, and do it that way. Just get you some good cardstock to put behind each page, so it gives it that strength to it. So anyway, these are my special little cookbooks, and I hope you'll make one. And if you do, please let me know. And if you want any more information, let me know. And I hope you enjoyed this. You have a great day. Talk to you soon.